Chapter 1: The King of Kings. Chuli. Chuli. In Seoul, South Korea, the COEX studio hall was filled with people. Although it is already the harsh winter, the appeal of the King of Kings tournament still attracts countless DNF, Dungeon and Warrior players to come to the scene to see the style of the great players. At this moment, as a figure appeared in the venue, all the audience immediately became excited. In an instant, countless DNF players, regardless of nationality or race, were shouting for one person, Chuli, with their loudest voices. That's right, that's the name of the peak fighting spirit, Chuli. From the moment he appeared, he used his extremely domineering strength to tell the world that he was the king of kings in the DNF world. In less than a year, this young and persistent Chinese esports player has won the individual championships in 4 international competitions. What is even more amazing is that in all competitions, his winning rate is an insurmountable 100% U 3000 and 2 along the way. Countless legends from the past have become a foil for his dazzling glory, and countless opponents who have tried to compete with him have ultimately swallowed the bitter fruit of failure. Under the attention of everyone, Chuli slowly walked towards the red area representing the Chinese players, with the corners of his mouth slightly raised, looking strong and confident. Around the competition hall, flashing spotlights flashed one after another, and the colorful lights flashed alternately, but at this time, all of them were far less than the brilliance of him, the strongest person in the world. Who will be my defeat today? Chuli sat next to the machine, gently moved his left wrist with a black metal ring, and began to debug the equipment. On the screen, the white hand with the ID of Peak War Spirit suddenly seemed to be alive. As he operated, he released sets of smooth and powerful combos. Baisho, the Sword Soul, is one of the professions with the longest history in DNF. You can use 5 weapons to fight: dagger, tachi, broadsword, blunt weapon, and lightsaber. The moves are quick and changeable, and there are many starting and moving moves. After balancing in multiple versions, it is one of the most balanced and operable professions. It is fast and maneuverable. Although it has not been as strong as Magic, Tactics, and Street Fighter in some versions, it has never completely sunk. A white hand with powerful operations is fully capable of competing with any profession. In the hands of Chuli, the agile movement and gorgeous combos of this profession have been brought to the extreme. His radical and oppressive playing style has repeatedly eliminated opponents within 20 seconds in international competitions, showing the domineering attitude of, with a sword in hand, I own the world. When most people thought that Baisho had been severely weakened, he used his superb skills to set off waves of Baisho storms. Even later internationally renowned commentators would habitually sigh, it's a pity that he's not Chuli when seeing a white-handed player lose. Although I've been playing for so long, every time I reach the finals, I still can't suppress the fighting passion in my heart. Maybe this is my real stage. Chuli looked at his left hand that was getting red and smiled lightly. There is a black metal ring on Chu Li's left wrist, which his father Chu Wentian put on for him when he was half a year old. Unfortunately, not long after that, Chu Wentian suddenly disappeared during a secret military mission, and the metal ring remained attached to his arm because no one could open it. Strangely enough, more than 10 years have passed, and this metal ring has been changing with the changes in Chu Li's body, and seems to have become a part of Chu Li's body. Old friend, I have to work hard for you again this time. Chu Li gently patted the metal ring that had been with him for more than 10 years. Only he knew that whenever he focused on fighting, his left hand would always undergo abnormal changes. Not only would the entire hand gradually turn blood red, but it would also arouse an almost crazy desire for fighting in his heart. That bloodthirsty, violent, and exciting feeling stimulated every nerve in him like poison, forcing him to constantly look for new opponents and use the weapons in his hands to defeat them and surrender. Fortunately, whenever the blood red color spreads to the wrist, the black metal ring will always release a golden energy. On the one hand, it prevents the abnormality from spreading further, and on the other hand, it also allows Chu Li to get rid of the control of the body and keep his mind clear. To be honest, without the existence of this bracelet, Chu couldn't even imagine what he would do after being controlled by the combat agent. However, everything has its disadvantages and its advantages. Although this abnormality is dangerous, it also brings a lot of benefits to Chu. Whenever this red color starts to spread, Chuli's nerve reaction speed and finger control ability will increase exponentially. Generally, the APM, operations per minute, of top players is between 300 to 400, but Chuli's APM can reach 1240 in this state. And with the rapid increase in reaction speed and controllability, Chuli's timing can be almost accurate to the level of 0.05 seconds, even if there is less than 0 in the opponent's moves. Even with a slight flaw of 1 second, Chuli was able to seize the opportunity to counterattack. The moment he crouched and stood up, the moment the golden body disappeared, and the scarecrow's landing point after flashing were all the beginning of Chuli's fatal attack. This year's DNF Fighting King competition, the finals have officially begun. On the red side is Chu Li, who is from China and is known as the peak fighting spirit. His main occupation is White Hand. On the blue side, he is the Emperor Superstar of Korean DNF and the Immortal Saint, Jin Jindong, his main occupation and golden body. As the host's voice sounded, Chu Li's opponent also appeared in the blue side area. Jin Jindong was once a well-deserved number one in the DNF world. One. Before Chuli was born, he had won the championship in almost all DNF fighting events for 2 consecutive years. His main profession, the Holy Knight, was superb. His iron-like defensive ability and amazing recovery power had made countless explosive players come back. And when he used it, he was almost perfect and unyielding. He could often find the opportunity to attack under the opponent's stormy attack, and use stable combos and the special skill of breaking the protection of the light ball to inflict terrifying damage. After many players lose in front of him, they often sigh like this: when you don't get close, you want to get close, but after you get close, you are afraid of getting close. This kind of helplessness in being defeated at long range and being counterattacked at close range has made him famous as the Immortal Saint. Hello everyone, I am the commentator Xiaomu. Today's final is a battle between the strongest sword and the strongest shield. Song Lon, which side do you prefer? As the players from both sides were making final preparations, a female commentator with a sweet voice said softly in the studio, "In terms of professional restraint, I think the Golden Body has a greater chance of winning. After all, the plate armor profession has advantages in melee combat. Moreover, the Golden Body's melee ability is not weak, and the consumption is not bad at all." The male commentator Song Lan said tepidly, "So, you are more optimistic about Jin Jindong this time?" "Well, although the Golden Body has the upper hand professionally, but..." Song Lan paused deliberately in the middle of his sentence. "What I am optimistic about is, of course, the invincible peak fighting spirit by Shou Chuli." With a shout, Song Lan seemed to have completely changed his state, and his whole body became excited. When everyone thought By Hands is gone, he emerged like a savior. Machinery, Poison King, Big Gun, Exorcist, Wandering, and even Azura, all professional players who were once thought to be able to restrain By Hands, have now fallen under his sword. Only he has broken one impossibility after another. Only he has broken one impossibility after another. He used almost perfect operation to achieve a performance that is not a bug and surpasses any other bug career. Only he makes our prediction of the game results meaningless. Because he is the undefeated myth of DNF, let us once again shout his ID and noble name, the Peak Fighting Spirit. Chu Li, Peak Fighting Spirit. Chu Li. With a passionate explanation, all the players on site and online became crazy. Around the world, in internet cafes, schools, communities, subways, everywhere there are DNF players, you can hear a person's name echoing in the air at this moment. 3, 2, 1, the game begins. As the countdown ended, this pinnacle showdown in the DNF world officially kicked off. Chapter 2 Extreme Control. 3 consecutive cuts. Charge forward. It's so fierce. Chu Li's white hand didn't even add buffs and rushed directly towards the golden body. Could it be that he regarded the golden body as a summons and was preparing to directly suppress it to death? At the beginning of the game, Chu Li's white hand did not choose to add buffs like most players, but instead approached Jin Jindong's golden body at the fastest speed. Unyielding, Devil's Hand, Wall of Light. Facing Chu Li's strength, Jin Jindong did not rush to activate the Holy Light Guard. Instead, after adding the Unyielding effect, he directly released two suppressive skills to attack instead of defend. Both the Wall of Light and the Devil's Hand have the ability to absorb blood. If they attack with bare hands, it will undoubtedly be beneficial to the golden body with strong recovery ability. And if Bai Shou wants to bypass the light wall and forcefully get close to him, then the golden body will have time to activate the holy light protection commonly known as the cover and counterattack Bai Shou in a state of physical immunity. Y-axis movement, earth cracking, and wave sword. Unfortunately, in front of Chuli, Jin Jindong's little calculation naturally came to nothing. After Chuli approached, he did not rush forward. Instead, he avoided two skills by moving along the y-axis. At a distance of about 2.5 body positions from the golden body, a ground wave swept past. The ground wave is a magic attack. If the golden body opens the cover at this time, it will undoubtedly waste precious physical immunity time because it falls to the ground. Unless you use crouching, otherwise after being hit, you are likely to be swept away with a lot of blood. Boy, if you have the nerve, come here and see if I don't beat you to death. Counterattacking on the spot will obviously lead to disadvantages. Using the Hammer of Confession for blood will only cause limited damage. Jin Jindong decisively chose to retreat, avoiding Chu Li's ground wave. At the same time, he placed his left ring finger on the shortcut key of the cover, waiting for the moment when Chu Li pursued him. He used the cover to waste the opponent's rush skills, and at the same time used the pure white blade and light ball and other enlightenment skills to counterattack. Damn, adding buffs in front of Jin Shun is too arrogant. It seems that Jin Shun's reaction has been predicted by the opponent. However, what is surprising is that Bai Shou did not continue to attack after the ground wave. Instead, while Jin Shun was retreating, he added buffs to himself in front of the opponent in a coquettish manner. He had obviously predicted Jin Shun's reaction just now. What a slap in the face! Bai Shou is showing off his prediction nakedly. When the two sides met, Jin Shin handed over 3 skills, and Bai Shou handed over 2 skills. Although there was no damage to either of them, Chuli had the upper hand in terms of strategic prediction. You bastard, let me continue to be arrogant. Jin Shin knew that his attempt to use the cover to fight back had failed, and there would be no benefit in delaying it any longer. He immediately opened the cover, applied all the buffs to himself, and rushed towards Chu Li, preparing to use the period of physical immunity to consume a wave of Baishou's blood. As a physics professional, Baishou would definitely not fight head-on with the golden body at this time. Chu Li decisively chose to distance himself and retreat to the other side of the screen. Boy, let's see where you run. After just a few breaths, Bai Shou was forced to the end of the left side of the tavern. The y-axis judgment of many of Jinshin's attack skills was not small. If Bai Shou moved upward along the y-axis, he would probably be hit by it. If he went down, he would be blocked in the pit in the lower left corner by Jinshin and violently beat him. The map of the tavern is too small, and the cover of the golden body is not over yet, so it's dangerous to be alone. Seeing this situation, the commentators on the scene also became nervous. Go to hell. Even if you have 3 heads and 6 arms, you have to kneel down in front of me this time. Wall of Light. Jin Jindong couldn't help but be happy when he saw Chu Li actually moving downwards. He was forced into a corner by the golden body that was about to end its physical immunity state. It was easy to be dizzy after the explosion of the light ball. If it couldn't be relieved instantly, then the golden body, after disappearing under the protection of the holy light, would start to deal a set of damage. Now, split the wave. However, just when Jin Jindong was about to approach and use the wall of light to suppress him, Chuli slashed with a split wave, accurately knocking the golden body to the ground. Splitting wave slash is a magic attack. Although the damage is not high, it can make the golden body fall to the ground, and cannot continue to suppress it during the strong period. Beautiful! As expected of a peak fighting spirit, He used his positioning prediction to successfully knock down the physically immune golden body. It seems that the golden body can't do any damage during this strong period. Seeing Chu Li stepping on the fallen golden body and about to leave the area in the lower left corner, this kind of risk-taking fighting style made Song Lon feel excited. Wanna leave? It's not that easy. Crouch. Pure white blade. Holy light ball. Jinshin knew that once he let by hand out, he would fall into passivity. The moment he walked past his body, he immediately stood up and crouched. At the same time, he used extremely fast hand speed to hit Pure White to catch the holy light ball. He tried to use the last time to force Chu Li into the corner. When the time of the cover was over, he directly used the air to strike. Jin Shinjiao is crouching. His hand speed is so fast, his hands are dangerous. Raptor. Chu Li actually used the dragon to rush out. Jin Jindong is really powerful. In this case, he used a crouch to force Chu Li to hand over the dragon. Raptor is one of Bai Han's strongest starting moves. It can perform a total of 5 high-speed displacement assaults with a long cooling time. Chu Li handed over the Raptor this time. Although he escaped the attack of the golden body during the physical immunity period, he also lost the opportunity to suppress it later. Overall, it was still a small loss. No. Chu Li's raptor rushed to 45 degrees one time, two times, recoiled, and was hit. Chu Li actually rushed out, then rushed back, used the raptor to hit the golden body into the air, and succeeded in attacking. Strange, didn't the golden body have a cover just now? Why was it still attacked? Because everything just happened so suddenly, even though Xiao Mu, the commentator, was staring at the screen, he still didn't understand how the physically immune golden body could be attacked by the raptor. It's extreme time control. Your eyes deceive you. The cover of the golden body disappeared in zero point 0.1 seconds before the raptor hit. Chuli calculated the tiny time difference and first used the raptor to escape and confuse the opponent. Then, he used a 45-degree recoil to successfully strike at the moment when Jin Jindong's spirit was the most relaxed. Chun Hu, the commentator who had been silent at the side, spoke up at this moment. Chun, who turned out to be one of the top DNF fighters in the country and was known as the #1 Azura in the national server. Unfortunately, this reputation was not yet popular, and he was ignored due to the rise of Chu Li. After experiencing countless times of being the second best in 10,000 years, he decided to change his career to be a commentator. Although his teasing skills were a little poor, his analysis of situations and fighters was far better than ordinary people, so he quickly made a name for himself in the commentary world. Together with Xiao Mu and Kenglin, he formed the Three Musketeers of DNF commentary. Extreme time control? You mean that Chuli's calculation of the duration of the golden body cover is more accurate than Jin Jindong himself? That's the fact. To be honest, Jin Jindong's calculation estimate is already very accurate, but his estimate accuracy is zero point 0.5 seconds, while Chu Li's accuracy is 0.1 second. It is this subtle difference of 0.4 seconds that made Jin Jindong relax his vigilance while wearing a hood, which led to Chu Li's 45-point recoil raptor attack. Chun Hu didn't seem surprised at all by this. Relying entirely on the timing in my mind, I can be accurate to 0.1 second. Oh my god, how is this possible? Upon hearing this revelation, even Xiao Mu, who has experienced countless competition commentary, was completely shocked. It may be impossible for others, but for Chu Li, nothing is impossible. In addition to time control, Chu Li can also use the opponent's conditioned reflexes to create opportunities. Take the 45-degree raptor just now. Because it was a counterattack and the distance was relatively long, if the opponent was prepared, there would be a chance to escape. But Chu Li cuts in at a 45-degree angle from the lower right to the upper left, which is different. For ordinary professional players, the first time they see the raptor is to move along the y-axis, away from the opponent. But for this kind of 45-degree raptor, the effective judgment of the y-axis will be greatly damaged. For the raptor, just now, the correct way to dodge is to retreat, or go down along the y-axis, and use the shortcomings of the smaller x-axis range of the 45-degree raptor to dodge. But in actual competition, It is almost impossible for a professional player to overcome his own conditioned reflex in an instant. Jin Jindong just saw Chu Li rushing up from the bottom right and instinctively dodge upwards, but unfortunately, he happened to run into the effective attack range of the 45 Raptor. Hey, this is the most despairing thing about fighting an opponent like Chu Li, because every conditioned reflex formed in your mind may become your flaw. Chun Hu said with lingering fear, as if he remembered some unbearable past events. Start up with a white hand, upward lift, flowing heart and leap, ghost cross, upward lift, ghost cross, upward lift, air combo. Is this the rhythm of a sword dance? Uh, what a pity. There was a miss in the air combo, and the golden body fell to the ground. Chuli thought that he could steadily take away 1/3 of the golden body's health this time, but unfortunately this fatal miss completely interrupted the perfect combo. It's not over yet. The golden body is not crouching, and the bare hands can sweep the floor. Does he want to? A sudden feeling suddenly came to Chen Hu's heart. His face was frozen, and his eyes were fixed on the scene. He seemed to be even more nervous than before. Chapter 3 Take You Away. As expected, Chuli decisively started to sweep the crouching golden body. Switch lightsaber, silver fall, upward pick, go sweep, split wave, back jump slash, head scratching. Although there was a miss in the combo, a beautiful sweep still knocked out nearly a quarter of the golden body's health. The golden body got up and started buffing. The two parties controlled the distance a little and tentatively exchanged a few small skills with each other. Chuli failed to find an opportunity to move. Jin Jindong's defensive ability was indeed watertight. If this continues, once the second cover of the golden body is cooled down, the situation is not optimistic. The golden body is the profession that is least afraid of attrition wars. Once it cannot effectively suppress it, the longer the delay, the greater the golden body's chance of winning. However, at this moment, Chuli suddenly made a move that shocked the whole audience. Tachi, I just switched to Tai Dao with my bare hands. Could it be that Chuli already felt that it was hopeless to start the attack and was not ready to do the sword dance? Isn't he afraid of the golden body opening the cover to counterattack? Generally speaking, cutting Tai Dao is done after starting with the dagger, switching in the combo, and finally taking the big move such as sword dance. And if you cut the sword before starting the move, the intention of direct sword dance is too obvious, and ordinary masters rarely use it this way. Hey, brat, can't you bear it anymore? Come on. Immediately hand over your sword dance. Jin Jindong couldn't help but sneered when he saw that Chuli seemed to be ready to make a desperate move. He placed his left hand on the holy light guard that was about to cool down. After all, for a top-level golden body, there are still many ways to prevent being directly sword danced. Third Company, Baisho charged, and was about to enter the sword dance range. Jinshin seemed to be confident, so he directly let Baisho get closer. Pujuan, it's Baisho. Hit! Baisho, who switched out the Tachi, did not use sword dance, but used Pujuan to lift Jinshin up. The screen suddenly flashed, and the director quickly replayed the scene before the golden body was hit. Oh my god, Jin Shin's Holy Light Guardian skill is so bright. With the cover on, Jin Shin actually watched his opponent rush towards him and was directly attacked by Pu Jun. How is it possible? Could it be that Jin Jindong was rolling the keyboard with his face? Faced with such mistakes that rarely occur in low-level PK games, it actually appeared in the world's top events. Could it be that Jin Jindong's strength suddenly dropped back to the novice field? Beautiful! Another extreme time control, combined with the conditioned reflex prediction of the golden body, made Jin Jindong suffer another severe loss. As soon as Pajuan came out, Chen Hu also became excited. Huh? Xiaohu, what do you mean? Didn't you just make a mistake in operating the golden body and get hit by hand Pajuan? Xiaomu looked at Shirin Hu with some confusion. It's true that it was an operational error, but Jin Jindong's operational error was completely induced by Chuli. For Baisho, when changing swords before a battle, usually he is either trying to use the bleeding effect to consume the golden body's health, or preparing for the sword dance and the golden body's cover cooling, is about to end at this time. For the golden body, the best choice is to open the cover at the moment of the opponent's sword dance, wasting the sword soul's killer move. And Chu Li, in order to induce Jin Jindong to do this, deliberately kept a certain distance before launching the move. During the time when he released 3 consecutive attacks to rush towards him, the cooling time of the golden body's cover was almost completely completed. When Jin Jindong saw that his cover was about to light up, he would naturally choose to wait for the white hand to approach, open the cover, and use the ultimate move to counterattack. It's a pity that human eyes have a delay. Although the Golden Body's Holy Light Guard skill seems to be usable at this time, in fact, there is still 0 left before it is completely cooled down. About 4 seconds later, when Jin Jindong saw the Holy Light Guard skill light up, Chu Li rushed over and activated the Holy Light Guard reflexively. However, due to CD reasons, the skill release failed. When he came to his senses and reacted a second time, Chu Li's Pajuan had already picked him up. That's why you can see that the golden body is still hit by nothing when it has a cover. Chun, who explained in detail. So that's it. One of the biggest advantages of the physical profession with the golden body is the physical immunity effect brought by the protection of the holy light. Chu Li actually turned around and successfully launched the move twice at the moment when the duration and cooldown time were about to end. Such time control and psychological prediction are really terrible. Kanglin couldn't help but admire. In front of Chu Li, every move of the opponent, and even the skill status, were firmly controlled by him. He was the master on the field. Anyone who tries to provoke him will be completely crushed by him and surrender. This time there was no miss, no mistake. Upward move, Lu Xinu, Ghost Cross. Chu Li's beautiful combo hit almost the limit of damage. Kirikado, continuous slashes in the air, sword dance. The pleasing combination of moves, coupled with the fierce sword dance, made the audience excited. With the end of the sword dance, Jin Shin's blood volume dropped by 1/3 again. Damn, this machine reacts too slowly. On the other side, Jin Jindong saw that his golden body's health bar had dropped below half, and he hammered the table hard. There was no suspense in the following game. Due to the continuous losses, Jin Shen became a little hesitant in attacking and counterattacking. During the opening of the second cover, only the Hammer of Judgment hit by hand. As Lan Yunyo was about to disappear, Jin Shen immediately stepped back and began to add blood to replenish the buff, no longer daring to play to the limit. It's boring. I lost my fighting spirit so quickly. Chu Li looked at the opponent who was just running away on the screen, feeling a little disappointed. To be honest, Jin Jindong's skills and ability to grasp timing are good, but for a master of time control like Chu Li, the more the opponent wants to play to the extreme, the more passive he becomes. After several failed extreme operations, Jin Jindong's self-confidence was completely defeated. Xiaohu, Jin Shen seems to be less aggressive. Is he planning to switch to a war of attrition? Naturally, the changes in the situation on the field could not escape Xiao Mu's eyes. Well, to be precise, Jin Shen's fighting spirit should have been defeated. Facing a master like Chu Li, trying to win through a war of attrition is completely self-deceiving. As soon as Chun Hu finished speaking, another exclamation sounded from the audience. Jin Shen was attacked by Chu Li's 3 consecutive slashes again. Although he got up and crouched in time to avoid the fate of being wiped out, with less than 1/5 of his health, he was already unable to withstand Chu Li's next attack. Chui Zaichen, I have bet 100 million US dollars on Jin Jindong in this game. If you can't do what you promised, I'm afraid there will be no need to talk about Chui's investment in the United States. We need an ally with absolute control. In the VIP box, a burly American was smoking a cigar and staring at the middle-aged man next to him with an unfriendly expression. Mr. Thomas, everything is under control. The suspense can only be exciting if it is left at the end, don't you think? Chui Zaichen's expression remained unchanged. It seemed that it was Chu Li and not Jin Jindong who had 1/5 of his health left on the field. Then I'll wait and see. Thomas spat out his eyes and stopped talking. Okay, I'll take you away with the last set. On the field, Chu Li's momentum has been established. Regardless of momentum, blood volume, and psychology, he has an absolute advantage. As the first place in the winner group, as long as he wins this game, his name will be engraved on this championship trophy. Beep, beep. However, he didn't know that at the same time, there was a small black chip at the bottom of his keyboard, which was flashing a strange light at the moment. Chapter 4 Conspiracy. Chu started again, with an upward move, and the golden body was beaten. Is this the last set of combos in this competition? Baisho hit the golden body into the air again. Some of the audience at the scene were already screaming with excitement. The last fifth of the health, even with a civilian combo, was enough to take the golden body away. Go slash. Bai Shou made a mistake. Maybe he was too nervous. After, Bai Shou raised his hand. Only one ghost was connected, and then he used Ghost Slash to knock out the golden body. Is it because the command was not locked? At the last moment, Bai Shou made an outrageous Ghost Slash, which caused a round of boos. Raptor. The Raptor was handed over with nothing. Does the golden body have a chance to dodge this fatal charge this time? Chuli frowned. He had just pressed the shortcut key for cross slash, so how could he use go slash? However, now at the juncture of the game, Chuli could only bite the bullet and attack with Raptor again. Aerial slash attack. The golden body started to strike. The white-handed Raptor stopped in front of the golden body. Perhaps because he was too close to the champion, Chu actually misjudged the distance of the Raptor. The golden body seized the opportunity and launched an air slash attack. San Lun also had an expression of disbelief on his face, but as a professional commentator, he had to bite the bullet and continue explaining.